Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Tsongkhong, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, homage to Master Dukten Tarshi. Let's pay homage to the three jewels of the altar, homage to the main deity of the group practice this evening, the greatly merciful and compassionate Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Sumo, Tanchen Katso, Dukten Siti, Dukten Kama, all Dharma masters, Dharma lecturers, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma tutors, directors of temples and centers, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good evening, everyone. How do you do? The last time was last week. We were talking about the Tibetan history records that's found inside the pillars that was written by the Tibetan king Songtsen Kampo, and it was hidden above the round pillars, so that's why it's referred as the history found inside or above the pillars. It mentioned about Songtsen Kampo himself as an emanation of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Emanation of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. In this writing, in this text, it was mentioned about the thousands and millions or innumerable myriad emanations. Avalokitesvara has myriad emanations. Those who have read the Buddhist Sutras would know that Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva also has myriad emanations. That's why one of the chapters is titled The Gathering of All the Split Bodies or Emanated Bodies, a title in the Siddhigarbha Sutra. In the last words or instructions of the king Songtsen Kampo, he wrote that back then, for his queen, Princess Bhrikuti from Nepal, to build the Jokang temple, it mentioned about this passage that Songtsen Kampu himself was an emanation of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. So he emanated hundreds and thousands of Songtsen Kampu to build the Jokang temple. So such a phenomena did exist. Then the Songtsen Kampu was personally building the Jokang temple. One person emanated thousands of laborers working together, and only one is the real Songtsen Kampu, and the rest were his emanations together building the Jokang temple. It was very difficult to build that temple because, according to Princess Wen Cheng, which was the queen or the consort from Tang Dynasty in China, Princess Wen Cheng, she understood feng shui. She knew feng shui. So she observed that the whole geometry of Tibet was like a Raksasi, a female Raksasa laying on her back. So in order to be able to build the temple, because there are negative energies on the earth, that they need something to suppress the negativities, like say on the joints of the Raksasi. So like here's a joint here, you need something to subdue or suppress it. And the joint here, all the joints should be suppressed, and also on the legs. On the joints area, you need something to suppress or subdue them, the negative energies, in order for the temple to be built. And from what we know, whom was the Jokang temple built for? Anyone knows? And the Ramochi temple? One temple enshrined the 8-year-old life-size statue of Sakyamuni Buddha. And the other one is a 12-year-old life-size statue of Sakyamuni Buddha. They were both enshrined at the Jokang temple and Ramochi temple. Nobody knows? Then I will not talk about it. So the Jokang temple was built for Princess Bhrikuti from Nepal and her 8-year-old life-size statue at the Jokang temple. And Ramochi temple was for Princess Wen Cheng. And the 12-year-old life-size statue was enshrined at the Ramochi temple. In the process of building the temple, the Tibetan king could emanate himself into myriad emanations to build the Jokang temple. Now, of course, because of the earth negative energy, they need to be subdued. They failed many times in building it until finally could be built. because Songtsen Kampo was emanation of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, and because Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva has myriad emanations, the Tibetan king also had myriad emanations. And that was written by Songtsen Kampo's last instructions or last words. So at such a time, there were already the countless or innumerable emanations. And I've also talked about Princess Vimalakirti of Nepal as an emanation of white Tara. And Princess Wencheng from the Tang Dynasty, China, was an emanation of the green Tara. And he also married from an area, the area where Bonpo originated, the princess from the Hmong clan, Hmong Sa, queen. And she was also an emanation of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. That was from the area called Zhangzhong. So green Tara and white Tara too are related to Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. So Songtsen Kampo not just married these three consorts who were more well known, but there were many others. Basically, all the princesses around Tibet then were married to the king. He married all of them. So back then, it was really nice to be a king. It's just that you're rather busy, that's all. So married this and that, including Princess Wencheng from Tang Dynasty. So Avalokitesvara has countless emanation. And from the Mount Potaloka, he emanated as the Tibetan King Songtsen Kampo. So the Tibetan King Songtsen Kampo himself was an emanation of Avalokitesvara. So when he was building the Jokang temple, he also emanated thousands of laborers working together, building the temple. So that was in the last instructions of Songtsen Kampo that he wrote, that I read. Anyone has read that book? I think it's called Tibetan Annals or Tibetan History. You're reading it now? It's very long. He wrote quite a lot. He wrote about the whole history of Tibet from the first king, Nyatri Chempo, and one after another, and then all the way to the king Namri Songtsen, which was the father of Songtsen Kampo. So he wrote the history of all of them. So that's why Avalokitesvara was truly great. He could manifest many split bodies. In spiritual cultivation, according to what the great Master Vimalakirti told me, as long as you can merge with the sky, then you can emanate the split bodies, because the sky or the cosmic space is boundless, infinite. That's why your split bodies are also infinite. Last night, when I was lying on the bed, sleeping, frankly speaking, in my sleep and dream, there were many bright lights appearing in the sky. Lines of them, rays of them, flying to my brow point, brow chakra. And I had some experience of sensation, cognition, that those were all my split bodies or Dharma bodies returning. And they were countless. It's impossible to count. The whole sky were filled with rays of lights, all lights, white lights, very bright, brilliant, entering into my brow points. And then, after all these lights enter, they exited again, returning to where they should go. There were many interesting, strange phenomena. And that's what happened last night. Anyone here? Many people have seen Grandmaster's Dharma bodies or felt a strong feelings or sensation about them. Please, the ones present here, please raise your hand, but not from other places. So anyone who has felt Grandmaster's Dharma body? Anyone? Over there. Please rise and speak while standing up. And give him a microphone, please. I will not call on names, but if you see Grandmaster's Dharma body, please stand up and tell us and share your experience.
Yeah, I feel very strong blessing energy from you. I feel a lot of blessings. Thank you so much, teacher, for your realization.
Okay. With one person starting, there should be many raising your hands. Please be brave. So, it's like you, so with no courage. Anyone that can see, really see or experience or feel it. Master-Lu-Ling Shen, could you share the experience of Dharma Sister Yue Qing or Kim? Kim, which was the attorney from Malaysia. A few days ago, Dharma Sister Kim had one artery that was completely blocked and 3 that has signs of blockages. So a few days ago went to KL to get the heart surgery, and she kept calling on Grandmaster to please save her, please save me, and then asked her to be blessed by Grandmaster several times. And because she took some, I think, blood thinner or something, and so there are many bruises that were very painful, and also on the chest and had difficulty breathing and asked me to ask Grandmaster to bless. And that was midnight over there. And then she said that she saw Grandmaster half transparent, extending hand to save her. So Grandmaster has saved her. So she kept calling on Grandmaster to save her. And then she saw Grandmaster that's half transparent. It's not completely transparent, otherwise there would be air. Half transparent. So that means there's a certain form, and she really saw it. And then sent a text, right? In line. She said that she saw Grandmaster half transparent. And then she felt at ease because she could see Grandmaster. So it can be seen. Someone there? I'm from Calgary, and my sister or somebody went to take refuge in Grandmaster at the Calgary temple. And when she kneeled and she saw Grandmaster speaking to her, and then she thought at first was her grandpa, and then no, that's not, and then oh maybe Siddhika, but no, and then she saw it was Grandmaster. It's just like the photo with that, and that was Grandmaster speaking to me. Very real. But she couldn't understand what Grandmaster said, but she saw Grandmaster for real, radiating light and speaking to her. Thank you. And my sister in Guangzhou also saw Grandmaster radiating bright light, white light, and the celestial garments fluttering. So we all saw Grandmaster. I'm not sure if she was talking. So she's in mainland China, Guangzhou, appeared in Guangzhou. And also in Calgary. Baiyun Lizang Temple. So it's everywhere.
To keep my experience private, but I would like to just testify that whenever you ask for Guru to appear, he appears, and he will give you teaching if you need teaching. And I've experienced this a lot of times. And when in meditation I requested how come this has taken so long, the answer was, well, you've never asked me before. So that's it. Thank you, Ching.
Anyone can translate? If I didn't ask the question like this, but there really are many real examples in any country can see. Really, doesn't matter which country you're in. As long as you are very sincere in your praying, in your prayers, then the Dharma bodies will appear. The Dharma bodies will appear. That's the truth. That's the reality. Generally speaking, because in my spiritual cultivation, the great Master Vimalakirti once told me, as long as you can merge with the sky or cosmic space, then you can emanate innumerable bodies or split bodies, emanated bodies. You will be able to be like Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, to manifest upon thousands of requests, to manifest at every prayer, and always salvaging suffering sentient beings. It's not just women or females that can see the split bodies, but also men. Many of them can see. All the same. And why some people can see? Because they're very urgent. And so they're wholehearted, single-minded. You're one-pointed in praying, then they would appear. When you have any other random thoughts in your mind, then they would appear. So this thing, well, it's not a thing really. This matters with the spirit world is really inconceivable and it's unspeakable. In the Tibetan history annals, it's written that Songtsan Kampo was an emanation of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. When he emanated thousands of laborers working on the Jokang temple one time, he got distracted. And when he was nailing a nail, he made a mistake and split the board because he was distracted. So when he did that, all the other workers all made the same mistake. It's such a thing that happened. And recently, something happened. That happened here at the Seattle Lechang Temple. Today, after dinner, I was talking about it. I will not mention the name. There is a disciple. When she was giving birth, she experienced lots of suffering and pain. She had a pain at night and sent to the hospital and suffering the labor for the whole night, still could not give birth. Until the next noon the next day, she still couldn't give birth. So she started asking for help. And through the abbot, Master-Lu-Ling, and then at that time I was driving after spiritual consultation, and Master-Lu-Ling stopped my car and said, this Dharma sister, so-and-so, was in the hospital and couldn't give birth and had been in pain for a whole night and the whole morning, a day and a half basically, and still could not give birth. When I heard that, I said, okay, in that car, I had mala chanting beads in 2 circles hanging there. So I touched the mala and chanted mantra. Chanting mantra. In that instant, as I was chanting mantra, the mala beads emitted a ray of light to the hospital. So at that time, the Dharma sister gave birth. The baby was born at that instant. So just at the moment when I was touching the mala beads and chanting mantra was the time when the baby was born. Is that right, Master Lien? Yes. Yes. So the instant I was holding the malas and chanting the mantra, she was giving birth to the baby. It's so amazing. It's that amazing. What a coincidence. Serendipity. As soon as I chanted mantra, the baby was born. And there's more story to it, but I will not talk about it. There's something more to that. And the story is also very, very mystical, incredible. But that's what really happened. So, body emanations or emanating. That's the reality. So body emanations are also a very marvelous and amazing thing. So where is Angel seated? Angel, where are you sitting? Are you still sitting there? Let me tell you. There's no need for you to make the rejuvenating elixir for Grandmaster. All you need to do is to tell Golden Mother to take the immortality peach from her garden. Just take one for Grandmaster to eat. Then you don't have to work so hard. Do you know that Pan Tao, the longevity peach held in Golden Mother's hand, that's really incredible. After eating it, you would become an immortal, really always young, always youthful. That would be the true rejuvenating elixir. So you can just tell Golden Mother, okay, just give me one. Tell Golden Mother to give me one, but don't steal it. Let me tell you, there was a person who went to steal Golden Mother's immortality peach. And this person was very famous in history, and his name was Dongfang Se. Dongfang Se. Okay, you can sit now. So go to Golden Mother's place and steal an immortality peach for Grandmaster. And no need to make the elixir. Dongfang Se was also a sage, half human and half fairy. So which dynasty was he from? Check the cell phone. This is the character of his name. He's from Han Dynasty. And he was also half human, half god, or half sage. Dongfang Se was half human, half god. Right? Master Lien Yin? It's the Han Dynasty. Western Han Dynasty from Han Uti Emperor. The last name is Dongfang and the name is So. This person went to the Golden Mother's fairyland and stole the immortality peach to eat. And I knew. He was half human, half god. And that's called avatar. Avatar. And Grandmaster 2 now is an avatar. If you don't believe it, you can check my car, the license plate. And it's AVT, and that's pronounced as avatar. 9951, right? Avatar, AVT 9951, the license plate number. And avatar means have got human. And Grandmaster 2 now is OM. So angel, go steal the immortality peach. If you don't succeed, tell me, then I'll go and steal it myself. It's marvelous to be a sage, and you can go anywhere. So that's why there are benefits in spiritual cultivation, right? He was a human, like Grandmaster 2 is a human, but they can emanate bodies. Grandmaster can emanate bodies going to all countries. Is there any country that they can't go? None. They don't need any visas. They can go anywhere, anytime. Now we'll get to the main topic. The question from Malaysia, Lian Hua Jiawi. Grandmaster, may all be well. My friend is sick, so I registered him for the primary supplicants on his behalf. Is that okay? And if he's not home or has gone somewhere else when Grandmaster conducts the ceremony, will Mahabala still be able to find him? Also, will Mahabala bless me as well, who prays for him? So, because an avatar can do anything, so the Grandmaster who's conducting Mahabala, even if you don't give him an address, he would be able to find them. Mahabala can definitely find the friend. Because Mahabala can find you, you know where your friend is. Although he's not home or going anywhere else, Mahabala would still be able to find him. So that's called transcendent power, right? Otherwise, what is transcendent power? They know everything. So Mahabala can definitely find him. So you registered him for primary supplicant, and Mahabala will also bless him as well. So because he registered for the primary supplicant, then of course he gained merit. So who gives the effort would gains the merits. So the same thing in chanting sutras is written clearly in the Siddhikapa Sutra. When you are chanting sutras for others, the recipient only receives 30% of the merits, and the person who chants receives 70% of the merit. So when you register others for primary supplicant, you gain 70% merit, and they only receive 30%. So if you can understand Siddhikapa Sutra, you would know. When you chant a sutra for the deceased, you gain 70%, and then the deceased only receive 30% of the result on merit. And then we all should know this. So might as well like bless me too, but you actually get 70%, and your friend only gets 30%. That's my answer to Dien Hoa Jiawi from Malaysia. The husband was in the shower, and the wife secretly checked the husband's phone. In the records, there was someone that's called Monster and has many records. So the wife immediately called that number, and her own phone rang. Monster. And a man was drunk driving and caught by a police, and so he ran away and went into a group of dancers line dancing in the park. And then because he couldn't keep up with the steps, he was discovered by the police and was caught. And then two elderlies next to him said, "Oh my gosh, if you don't dance well, you'll be caught by a police." In the line dance. So there are many jokes about getting drunk. And I remember Dr. Linda Jung talked about a joke about the mentally ill person. There was a mentally ill patient that climbed the electric power pole to the top. And all the doctors came out and told him, "Come down, come on, quick. That's very dangerous." And the patient was still on top of the pole, didn't want to come down, even after several of the doctors asked him. And then there was another mental patient who walked by and looked at the other patient that's on top of the pole and told him, "You come down, otherwise I'll get a saw and saw the pole." And the other patient came down just with one statement, and the doctors was really curious. "Hey, I asked you with so many different ways to come down, but you did not." And why, when the other patient asked you to come down, you did right away? And then he replied, but you didn't know that this other patient will really do it. A joke about mentally ill people. Because when the doctor said, well, you saw to saw the pole down, and he still didn't want to come down. But when another mentally ill patient said that, then he came down because he knew that a mad person would really do it. Now we'll talk about the Vimalakirti Sutra. Now, this is another bodhisattva, and he's called a bodhisattva manifest perception, or manifest. This bodhisattva said, exhaustibility and non-exhaustibility are dualistic. Whether the Dharma is ultimately exhaustible or not exhaustible, it is the phenomena of inexhaustibility. The phenomena of inexhaustibility is emptiness. Emptiness has no characteristic of exhaustibility or non-exhaustibility, and those who understand this enter the Dhammakit of non-duality. So what does it mean to be called Bodhisattva manifest perception? Is when the wisdom manifests. And you see by using wisdom. So you use wisdom to see or perceive. So whatever they see is accurate. So this bodhisattva uses wisdom to observe. And this kind of bodhisattva is called bodhisattva manifest perception. Manifest is the manifestation or appearance of the wisdom who observe and see everything with wisdom, and that's called bodhisattva manifest perception. And he said, exhaustive and non-exhaustive are dualistic. In the Buddhist sutras, some say that the exhaustion of life and death, so you don't need to experience life and death anymore, and that's called the exhaustibility of life and death. If you're still in reincarnation, in the rebirth cycle, that's inexhaustive. If you don't need to be reincarnated again, then that's called exhaustive. So let me give another example. If you have no afflictions whatsoever, that's called exhaustive affliction. So if you still have afflictions, then your afflictions is inexhausted. So those are two things for general people. But Bodhisattva manifest perception said that exhaustive and not exhaustive are two things. If you're still in the rebirth cycle, then you're not exhaustive. But if you already have no rebirth cycle, then you're exhaustive. If you already gain enlightenment, that's exhaustive. If you have no afflictions at all, that's exhaustive. But if you still have afflictions, then that's non-exhaustive. They are two things, but actually they are just one. Let me just talk about myself. I've been thinking when it's about time to leave South Mountain Retreat. Where should I go? Where would I go after leaving Malaysia? 80. Oh my heavens. Don't exhaust me. Don't tire me. It's not like when I was young. I went to all over, all different countries to propagate Buddha Dharma. Of course, if there's the right affinity, they'll be fine. It may be okay if there's the right opportunity or affinity. When should I leave the South Mountain retreat? Like when the physical body is gone, just leaving the South Mountain retreat, go to a different place. Should I go back to Mahatwain Lotus Ponds? And then I remembered my vow to deliver sentient beings in each and every lifetime, which binds me. Oh no. Now I have to change my form, like my house, and to be reborn again. And then grow up and deliver sentient beings again. Generally, that's the reincarnation of Rinpoches, which we have many Rinpoches in Tibet, and they kept being reborn in Saha world to continue delivering sentient beings. So should I go back to Mahatwain Lotus Ponds or to stay in the Saha world to be reincarnated? So if I return, that's called exhaustive. No more rebirth cycle. But if to be reincarnated in the Saha world, that would be inexhaustive rebirth cycle. Well, who told you to generate such a vow, to deliver sentient beings in each and every lifetime? But I didn't know any better back then. Now I know that's such a misfortune. So what should I do? But in the eyes of Bodhisattva manifest perception, once you have reached such a realm and you comprehend empty nature, the Saha world is also empty. In the Saha world, you just follow your affinities to deliver sentient beings. Actually, you're also exhaustive. Like now, even now, I can go back to Mahatwain Lotus Ponds anytime. I don't have to wait until my life ends to go back. I can go there anytime. But actually, I never come nor go. So in such a moment, exhaustive and non-exhaustive are the same. To transcend life and death, not to be reincarnated again, then you return to the Mahatwain Lotus Ponds. If you want to be reborn in the Saha world, that's fine too. But actually, the Saha world is just an illusion. It's a fake world. So that's why exhaustive and non-exhaustive are the same. We cannot say it is exhaustive or non-exhaustive. You do not dwell on neither exhaustive or exhaustibility nor non-exhaustibility. That's how it is. So just follow the affinity and go with the flow. And exhaustibility and non-exhaustibility are the same thing. We still deliver sentient beings. Even when you go back, you still deliver sentient beings. And when you come, you deliver sentient beings. Without coming and going, you're still delivering sentient beings. exhaustive or non-exhaustive, you're still delivering sentient beings. That's spoken by Bodhisattva, manifest perception. Because the phenomena of inexhaustibility is emptiness. So inexhaustibility is the same as exhaustibility. And exhaustibility is also inexhaustibility. At such a time, it is all emptiness. So it's neither exhaustive nor non-exhaustive. And those who understand this enter the Dharma gate of non-duality. This was spoken by Bodhisattva, manifest perception. So although I'm amidst a deeper cycle, but actually I have exhaustive outflow of afflictions, which means I have no afflictions whatsoever. So there's nothing to be afflicted about, to worry about, because there's no use to be afflicted. Think about it. Is there any use? So whatever affinity comes, whatever affinity goes, it just come and go and come and go naturally. And so it's neither exhaustive nor non-exhaustive. And at such a time, that's the Dharma gate of non-duality. So that's why we say Grandmaster is 80. And so I thought of that. I thought of this thing. And leaving the South Mountain retreat, should I enter exhaustibility or non-exhaustibility? Or it's the same between exhaustibility and non-exhaustibility. We just go with the affinity, and that's also exhaustive. Why? Why Grandmaster has no afflictions? Because I know clearly that in this world, what can you gain? What can you get? You cannot get anything, not fame or name. It's nothing. And money and sensual pleasures, nothing. What can you gain? They're all momentary. I think there's a joke here. Not this one. This one. What is there to compare in life? Comparing looks, we all will get old. Doesn't matter how beautiful you are, eventually you'll become old and ugly. Because old and ugly, old means ugliness. And comparing wealth, we can't get it. Even when you have money, eventually you'll become poor. Why? Because you can't carry anything with you when you die, not even a cent. And for the poor people, they're poor anyway, they also can't carry anything. But the same for the rich people. That's why rich or poor are the same. Comparing life, what is there to compare? Whether you live to be 90s or 100s, all the same. Eventually you'll die. You die at 80, you'll be the same as Sakyamuni Buddha. That would be good. That would be nice too. Or the ghost which said that I would die at 73. But actually if 73, that would be nice too, because the same as Confucius. But that's past. Now I'm 80. And Sakyamuni Buddha passed at 80. And if I die at 80, that would be like Sakyamuni Buddha, that would be good too. So to live to be 90s or 100 and then with pain all over your body, would that be good? No, that's not that good. It's not good. So might as well die when there's no pain before illnesses appear. That would be the best. If you wait until you're sick and lay in the sick bed in the hospital to go, no good. So that's why it's all the same. Whether you live a rich, colorful life, that's good. And if you live an ordinary life, that's good too. If you live an extraordinary life, that's not bad. And if you live an ordinary life, that's also not bad. What is there to compare? So that's why you shouldn't compare anything or with anybody. This is not a joke. This is a philosophy. It's all the same. You think you're so beautiful? When you're old, you'd be the same as the old Bodhisattva, a nickname of the old lady here. Is she here? And the woman would be like the old Bodhisattva, and the man would be like Lin San. Lin San's 95 now. Wow. When he was young, we visited him at his house, and he showed that his lip frogs from here continued leaping to over there, and he showed us his legs. They was like baseball bats. They were like baseball bats, all muscles. And now, does he have any muscles? Can Lin San still do the lip frogs? Probably not. When I was young, oh heavens, I could do the big wheel and small wheel on the gymnastic bars. The big wheel is you use the hands to hold the bar, and then you use cloth to tie them so that they don't fall off. And then you sway your body and then circle around the bar. That's called the big wheel, and I've done that in my youth. And the small wheel, the bar is behind my body, and right here on my elbow. And then you sway your body, and then you rotate or revolve around the bar. That's called the small wheel. So now if you're asking me to do that, are you trying to kill me? And Shimu said, never ever to do the bars again for me to see, because who knows, maybe you're down on the ground but your hands are still up there. But actually I could still do it. Why not? See? I could still get up there on the bar, right? I can do it still, because every day I still train. And one day I'll take off my clothes to show you. I'm 80 already. This is like the double bars, right? See, I can still lift myself up. But the two hands on the bars and the person on the ground. So where was I? That's about it. Bodhisattva manifests perception. That's all. So, actually, rebirth, birth and death is the same as rebirth cycle. And no birth and death is no rebirth cycle. And rebirth cycle or samsara is non-exhaustive. And life and death is considered exhaustive. But actually exhaustive and non-exhaustive are the same. There's this example, I don't know whether it's right, but maybe not right. We know that the earth revolves. That's called the earth is going through the rebirth cycle, but you don't feel it. That's exhaustive. But the fact is the earth revolves. So when it's revolving, but you don't feel it revolving. And for me, when I'm being reincarnated or in the rebirth cycle, I don't feel that I'm being reborn. I still feel that I'm at the Maha-Twin Lotus Pond. So for me, exhaustive or non-exhaustive are irrelevant. I'm always at the Maha-Twin Lotus Ponds. That in the Saha world, they're just my projection. Saying it this way is entering the Dharma gate of non-duality. That's all I can explain. Many people struggle over one question, one issue. When they have money, should they buy a house or buy a car? Because when you buy a house, you have a place to sleep. But if you ask the natives, they would say, you should buy alcohol instead. Why? Because after drinking, you can sleep anywhere, many places. And the teacher asks the students, can you give an example about this idiom? Still asking even when you know the answer. And Xiaoming replied, during class, teacher, you always ask questions. And actually you already know the answers. So this is the idiom. Still asking even when you know. Xiaoming is really smart, right? This is a joke about Hui Jun. Someone said, my waist is big. Oh, that's so laughable. Because don't you know, I mean, this is an idiom that meant like, I have lots on my waist, or actually like in my pockets, which means you have lots of money, you're wealthy. Hui Jun is also wealthy. One night, a drunkard was knocking on a street light pole. He was knocking on the street light, and a passerby passed by and asked him, what are you doing? And the drunkard said, what are you doing? I'm knocking at my door. And my wife just didn't open the door. And then the passerby said, well, continue knocking, look up, the light's still on. So the drunkard knocking on the street light. The young man asked the master, I am heartbroken, what can I do? And the master said, if your girlfriend wants to leave you, it's impossible to chain her with the iron chain. And what should I do? And the master said, you need to use gold chain instead. Many thanks.